Hi, this is Tommy Wiseau, creator of The Room. Let me introduce you to the new Joker.
It's me, don't worry. Holy shit. I gotta stop with the mask, I can't breathe. But I wasn't shaving my face to do face makeup, and yeah, I know it looks a little weird. This thing did come with a tie, but the tie was too complicated to figure out, and it had pants that I'm not wearing. I'm wearing pants, just not the pants because you can't see the pants, so you're just dealing with emo Joker because, you know, he just so happens to commit crime and loves Blink-182. This is the Joker 7 video, the Halloween special video. I know it's not necessarily like the scary stuff that I usually do on Halloween, but I figured it makes the most sense considering I was planning on, you know, dressing as him for Halloween to rank the 7 main Jokers from worst to best, that being, you know, the ones from like Jack Nicholson to Jared Leto to Heath Ledger to the guy from Gotham, all that, just the main ones we've seen on the big screen, and of course Mark Hamill's cartoon adaptation because, well, I think he's done enough voice-wise for it that he's become real recognizable when we talk about the character at hand. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just get things started, shall we? So I think this is the obvious worst one with Jared Leto, and look, I think I want to give him more the benefit of the doubt, because when I see what Zack Snyder was going with in the Snyder Cut of Justice League, I definitely could appreciate the direction that he was seemingly taking the character away from what it was in the Suicide Squad, and not to mention that Jared Leto is actually the only one of these actors who wasn't in a show that has actually portrayed the character more than once on the big screen in movies, so he's got that over the other ones. But I think too, we've seen so little of him, and the little that we've seen just hasn't been super impressive. Nothing in the Suicide Squad really impressed me, and like I said, even in the Snyder Cut of the Justice League, you see him like right at the end for like 10 minutes and then that's it. It seemed like Zack Snyder had a plan with him, but then his movie got cut and they went with this completely different direction. So I want to give Jared Leto the benefit of the doubt because he's had the least amount of screen time of all these Jokers, but at the same point in time, what he's done with his screen time hasn't been that impressive for me to go, yeah, you know, he's one of the best. Now the list might get a little, I don't want to call it controversial, but there definitely might be some talking here. And at number 6, I have Cesar Romero. Now, don't get me wrong, I think that the 66 Batman show was definitely unique in itself. It brought more of a kid-friendly vibe to Batman, and it definitely did its job for being kooky and just funny in some cases here. I mean, Adam West will forever be Batman to a lot of people, and of course Burt Ward as Robin is also a classic. And we get Cesar Romero, who was the first one to basically play a live-action version of the Joker, and I think he did it well. He has a great laugh, and I think a great personality for the fit of the character, although the mustache under the makeup really bothers me, because Cesar Romero just refused to shave it. But I think the reason I have him ranked so low is because I didn't necessarily grow up with this Joker. I've seen some of the episodes from the 66 show, and I even saw the movie that came out with this series as well, and you know, it's impressive, it's cool, but I'm more into the darker aspect of the Joker. When you try to make Joker like just kooky and kid-friendly more, it just kind of takes the character down a bit, because the whole point of his character is he's supposed to be so psychotic and just not right in the head to where he's going to do messed up things, but they took that away from it to make it more kid-friendly. If you get what I mean here, like I'm saying, it's not a horrible adaptation, but never really been one of my favorites, but I can enjoy it when I do see it. Number 5 is Cameron Monaghan from the Gotham series. Now, I haven't seen a whole lot of Gotham. I've seen some clips and I've seen some episodes. I don't know, I guess when it came out, I just really wasn't that interested with it because this Joker supposedly isn't the Joker that came around when Batman was a thing. Now, I know toward the end of the series, Bruce Wayne does become Batman, and this Joker ends up dying, but it just seemed a little weird that it was like, wait a minute, so you're telling me the Joker that we've all grown to know and love is an imposter who's like a copycat? Like, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me in this case, but I will say, Cameron plays this character extremely well. The craziness is there, and I like the fact too that they pay homage to the new 52 edition of Death in the Family, where he gets his face cut off when this guy who was obsessed with him thinks he's dead, to kind of take his identity, and then when Cameron's Joker comes back to life, he goes, kills this guy, takes his face back, and just staples it onto his face. Like, I do like that that's really the only series that's ever paid homage to that comic. But again, I just think it's because I've had the second least experience with this character that I'm just kind of like, you know, for what I've seen, it's good, but would I call it one of the best of all time? Debatable. Then, right smack dab in the middle, I have Joaquin Phoenix with his Arthur Fleck portrayal. This is another reason I have him ranked low, is because it's also not supposed to be the actual Joker. Because when you think of the Joker, it's either a guy who we don't necessarily know his name or the backstory to, or he goes by Jack Napier. But not once, at least in the comics, I could be wrong, correct me if I am, I don't remember them using the name Arthur Fleck. I feel like this was just Todd Phillips' way of separating the character from the actual DC universe in a way. But I've also heard rumors that they plan to use him in Robert Pattinson's Batman movies in the future, but that's just a rumor, nothing set in stone. But what I really do like about Joaquin Phoenix's adaptation is we actually get to see the backstory of how this guy became so messed up and crazy, how he started out as just this polite guy trying to make it through his job as a circus clown to help out his sick mother, only to find out his mother has told him lies about himself, and other people start betraying him in different ways, and he just becomes flat out done with it after he gets embarrassed on TV trying to do the whole stand-up bit. It's just really, really messed up and fucked up, but it was one of my favorite movies of 2019 just because we finally got to see what made the Joker snap, and when he snapped, you're definitely like, oh yeah, and Joaquin Phoenix again just seemed like a perfect fit in that situation. Like, he's gone through so much fucked up shit in his life that playing a character who's going through so much fucked up shit just seemed like it was made for him in this case. Alright, the top three was where it was really hard to, you know, rank them from who I think is the third best to the actual best. But at number 3, I have Jack Nicholson from Tim Burton's 1989 Batman. What I like about this one is it kind of, you know, keeps the dark aspect of it while also giving him that kid-friendly cheesiness that we got from, like, the 66 cartoon. Like, he's still got the bang gun. He's got, you know, this whoopee cushion in one of his pockets when he falls to his death. Of course, you know, he's got the microphone that laughs as well. It's all fun and different. And this is the Jack Napier character. We actually see him as Jack Napier first before he falls in the acid. And what I really like too about this one is most of the time when you look at the Joker and his, you know, pale white face, it's usually white makeup that just comes off. But with this Joker, when he fell into the acid, you know, just made his skin so super pale that his face is just pale white all the time, to where if he wants to have a normal looking skin tone, he's got to, you know, put makeup on for that. And there's that famous scene where he's going to see Vicky Vale. Vicky Vale throws the water in his face and the makeup starts running. It was a really impressive scene. And again, I think Jack Nicholson at the time just seemed like the perfect fit for it, because throughout his career at that point, he had played some crazy characters. I mean, he wasn't far removed from being Jack Torrance in The Shining, so it just felt like the perfect match. And to mix the darkness of Tim Burton and the comic book friendly version of it together, just, he was the only one that I think could have ever made it work back then. Well, with number 2, it gives number 1 away, but number 2 is Heath Ledger. It pained me not to put him at number 1, but I remember seeing The Dark Knight as a kid and just going, wow, that was probably the darkest, most messed up version of the character I've seen. I mean, this is the one where we don't know his backstory. You know, he keeps telling you these different stories. He's like, you want to know how I got these scars? And then he'll give you this messed up story about his dad or his mother just, you know, doing something to him and his siblings and all that kind of stuff. What I do like, though, is that the permanent smile is actually permanent. He cut a smile into his lips, and that's why he licks his lips all the time, is because, you know, saliva would be dripping down his mouth if he wasn't doing it. And I just think, too, Heath Ledger kind of came as a surprise to play the character. I mean, this guy from Brokeback Mountain, really, this is the guy we want to do it, but he just got so into character that he just felt like he was taking this so seriously, like he wanted it to be perfect. And to this day, I think at this point in time, at least for my generation, it's the most popular version just because of how memorable it is. Like, even 13 years after the fact, his performance still doesn't get old. Like, it stands the test of time, and it also gives credit for being a bit different. Like, this is still the same kooky Joker, but it's different in a way. There was a lot of improvised scenes by Ledger that made the movie, like when he's in the jail cell and Gordon's talking and Heath Ledger just starts clapping uncontrollably. Like, that was a really, really cool addition. And I think my favorite addition too is when he's blowing up the hospital and it just kind of stops and he starts fidgeting with the remote. That was actually a studio blooper, and I guess Christopher Nolan liked it so much that he said, you know what, we're leaving it in because that just seems like something the Joker would do in that situation. So the fact that Heath Ledger was just able to add more to this character that we knew pretty much a lot about, but kind of kept the mystery as to who he really was, giving out conspiracy theories like, oh, this Joker seems to be like a retired, you know, military vet who has PTSD and has gone through a lot of shit, to just being a random dude who just went psychotic over some obsession with things. It's just very, very interesting overall, and I think deserves to be the moniker of one of the best adaptations we've gotten. But number one, I put Mark Hamill, because yeah, I know he's never played this live-action version of the Joker, but his voice at this point is just so distinct that you know when it's him playing the character overall. He first made his debut as the Joker in Batman the Animated Series in 1992, and continued on doing it until the Justice League series ended in 2003, and they kind of passed on the voice acting to different other people, especially for the cartoon series The Batman that started in 2004. He's since returned here and there for his role. I think he was in The Killing Joke. He ended up voicing the Joker there, and he's done some other adaptations like for the Lego stuff and all that. But I think when we all think of him, it's the animated series Joker, where, again, he just has that distinct voice. I like the fact, too, that the laughs with his Joker are never the same. They're always different depending on the mood. And this came as another surprise, too, because you're thinking, wait a minute, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, the guy we know as a hero, playing one of the most sickest and messed up villains in DC Comics. Like, it just, at the time, I would assume, I wasn't born in 1992, but I would assume that when he was casting for the role, people were kind of confused to that. Like, how can you let this guy who's known as a hero to many kids go and play this villainous character after being known as Master Luke Skywalker? But in the end, I would say it worked out, and he's one of those people that has played a hero and a villain very, very well. He's done it in two different ways, and it's just so memorable in the case when you ask people how they go about playing the Joker. They always bring up, well, you know, we want to keep it similar to what Mark Hamill had going for it while putting our own little twist on it. So in the end, I think Mark Hamill's has become like the most influential, and that's why it's deserving of the top spot on this list. So yeah, that is it for the Joker 7, ranking the 7 main Joker actors from worst to best. I would love to hear your opinions in the comments below. Maybe you can give me your ratings, 7 being the worst, 1 being the best. Who do you think played the Joker very well, and who do you think needs some work? And maybe just give me some explanations for all of your rankings, why you put them there in this case, because again, some of them might need explanation as to why you put them there. You may have grown up with one Joker over the other, or you may see one Joker performance more overrated than the other. I don't know, but that's the whole interesting part about lists like this. But yeah, until then, have a happy Halloween, stay safe out there, wear your mask, go trick-or-treating, and check your kids' candy for razor blades. I'm kidding, that usually never happens, but yeah. I guess until then, I will catch you all in the next one.